speed, power, strength, size. These are the 4 pillars that you need to become a freak athlete. And we're gonna give you 4 specific tips to improve all these pillars. And we're gonna start right now. So that first exercise is going to be banded squat jumps. If I'm going here, okay, I'm gonna get set. I'm gonna drop. If we want to get more explosive, typically we would recommend doing a snatch, doing a clean, something along those lines. If you don't want to snatch, you don't want to clean, you can use a squat machine. If you don't have access to this, you can use dumbbells. And one key factor here is that on this machine, we've got that crazy accommodating resistance. So we've got that band hooked up. What ends up happening is that at the top of that drive, I get to the top, the band lengthens. It's going to pull me down rapidly. If we're thinking about becoming a freak athlete, we have to apply a large amount of force very, very quickly. And that's one big aspect here. Again, we would talk about a technical coordination movement, but we're replacing that technical coordination with a strength exercise that's explosive, that's dynamic, using that accommodating resistance. I would do this for 6 triples, 7 sets of 3, 7 sets of 4, something like that. React as fast as possible. And this is going to help with that big time hip drive. It's gonna increase your speed off the line if you're a football player. It's gonna improve that overall impulse expression. So in the world of powerlifting, they typically aren't gonna do things like a clean or a snatch. And I am here at arguably the mecca of powerlifting, Elite FTS. So we are here at Elite FTS where we're gonna be sitting down with Dave Tate, the legend himself, and we're going through variations of our own training system. We're gonna do a big weightlifting movement, then a big strength movement, then we're gonna get into some type of accessory. So today what we're doing is we're actually showing you how to do that without using the standard GS system, but it's still gonna be the GS system with different exercises plugged in. And it's all going to be based off of powerlifting, based off of accommodating resistance, based off of everything in this absolutely fantastic gym at Elite FTS. Okay, so we've got to develop crazy amounts of absolute strength. That means being as freaking strong as possible. If we're looking at anything here at Elite FTS using accommodating resistance, the first thing that pops into my mind is a safety squat bar. And this is a bar that we'll even use with our weightlifters, with our throwers, to help strengthen their mid-back, to help strengthen their pull off the ground, to help improve their overall trunk stability and improve that speed on a pull. And one unique thing that you can do here is you can add chains onto this bar to make it a little bit harder up at the top, okay? So that accommodating resistance adds weight as you start to stand up. You've got to drive through that mid-back, drive through the quads a little bit more to extend and finish that lift. One big thing that I even recommend is using something like a box here, okay? So we could get set, have that safety squat bar. I'll actually just demonstrate here. I'm not gonna desecrate Elite FTS and put chains on in the wrong way, so I'm not gonna do that. But you can do that if you wanna improve that overall strength. You can get set here, come down, sit, 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 drive up as fast as possible, okay? Sit, 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 drive up as fast as possible. And even if you're using this to increase that max strength, having the chains, getting really, really freaking strong and making sure that you're still doing some of that explosive work, making sure that you're still doing some of that plyometric work that we are typically going to be doing in an athletic-based program, this is one of the best ways that you can improve your overall strength. I even recommend, if we're doing big time absolute strength work, let's say that we do 2 or 3 sets of 5, 2 or 3 sets of 2, and then maybe 1 drop set, 5 to 7 reps to finish off that great workout. But a safety squat bar, throw on some chains, use a box, and become an absolute savage. Okay, so now we're gonna get into the bodybuilding part, or the accessory portion, the hypertrophy portion of our workout. And of course, we're still gonna be using some sense of accommodating resistance. Before we get into that, I just wanna throw out a story here. John Meadows behind me, he passed away a couple years ago, and he is literally the reason why we have our YouTube channel currently. He is the first person that I spoke to back when COVID hit in April of 2020. He met with me, he talked to me for 3 hours. He's like, you've got to do one thing, you got to go all in on YouTube for 2+ years. So all of this content is really at the heart of it inspired and also triggered by John Meadows. So we're here at Elite FTS where they've got this sweet poster of John, rest in peace. And now we're gonna show you one exercise that we got from him and then another exercise to light up that back. So the first exercise of the hypertrophy portion of this training session is just gonna be a banded tricep extension. So we're gonna attach this to an immovable object here. You can hit triceps like this, but as research has shown, it's better to hit triceps in an overhead position. So we can sort of go cross body here. here, okay? And we can move away if it's a little too easy. We can get closer if it's a little bit hard. Let's say we hit a set of 20 here on the right side. We hit a set of 20 here on the left side. Try to get that horseshoe, that nice crazy pump. And then that's gonna take us into that back exercise with some more accommodating resistance. I can't wait to hear all the comments down in the comment section. You should only do accommodating resistance with extensor muscles. It's worthless with back muscles. You're not gonna get the same gains. You're not gonna get those gains, dog. Okay, so this next exercise, we set up bands around this seated row bar. And what we wanna focus on is basically having constant tension through the back and through those biceps, okay? So we're gonna get a pretty freaking serious pump here. And if we're thinking about developing somebody like a wrestler or even an offensive lineman, somebody who's gonna hold quite a bit, using movements that are gonna trigger your biceps and your lats with some type of accommodating resistance is gonna force you to get a little bit more tension in here as you get closer. So even think about a running back trying to hold on to that football and prevent themselves from potentially fumbling. If they have really, really good tension nice and tight here, that's where we're gonna see this functional carryover from the accommodating resistance, okay? So we can get set here, come back. Oh my God, it's so heavy. Oof. I wanna squeeze right there. Oof. 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 Oh, that's crazy. So, also this is so freaking heavy. Heavy duty, unbelievable. Now, what I recommend is rest like 45 to 60 seconds, go back to the triceps, come back over here. Try and keep this part moving. Lots of time under tension. Make sure you're doing really, really high rep sets. Again, if I'm training a wrestler, I would hit this for like 3 to 4 sets of 17 reps, get right back into those triceps. Now, I'm gonna give you one bonus exercise, one really, really sweet bonus exercise that I discovered just meandering through this unbelievable gym.
Okay, it's happening.
The bonus exercise. We've got to think about one exercise or one lift or one piece of equipment that people hate. They absolutely hate it. And actually, a couple of years back, we made an entire video on this type of apparatus. Now, I'm going to show you something that's going to be dynamic and very, very explosive. And that's going to be an elite FTS version of the Smith machine, banded up with that accommodating resistance. So I'm here, and I like to use this if I've got discus throwers, shot putters, boxing even. We can get set like this. Nice and rapid, and that freaking band pulling it down really, really lit up my pecs. That's going to be one way that we can do it. I'm gonna try and throw it, but I'm slightly concerned that it's gonna come down really, really fast. So we'll see how that goes. Maybe I shouldn't do this. I have enough fake teeth. Here, boom, 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 boom. And one thing that I was just thinking about is that if we do this with that speed, when you're coming down, you're really, really loading up your muscles. You're starting to lengthen it like crazy. So your brain is starting to think, we've got to recruit at very, very high speeds. Again, think about somebody like a boxer or throwing a crazy stiff arm. That's where this is going to come into play. I even think the way I would do this, I'd do like 5 sets of 7 to 10 seconds. Time it and see how many reps that you can get in during that time frame. If you guys need help with your training and you want to become an absolute savage, head over to peakstrength.app, the Google Play Store, the Apple iOS Store. You can download Peak Strength today, where we're gonna help you become that freak athlete. Because remember, freaks, if you wanna become a champion, you've always gotta cultivate your power. Peace.